Well, this is it. We are about to head out the door. It is just a little bit after 5 p.m. right now, and we are leaving on a road trip to Colorado. I've never been there before, but we're gonna drive from Oregon to Colorado with my entire family. So I'm bringing all 4 of my kids. This is gonna be our longest road trip yet. And in Colorado, I'm gonna be meeting up with my business manager and also a couple of the virtual assistants that work for me. So we're actually gonna be picking up Cortni Loveridge, my business manager, in Utah, where she lives, and then we'll continue on our drive to Colorado and staying there for about a week. So I'm really excited to be bringing you guys along with me. Not quite sure how much of the road trip itself I will get to vlog, but I'm definitely going to be introducing you to Cortni while I'm there and just sharing with you guys about what she does in my business and what her role is and how she helps me and all that stuff. So yeah, we're about to head out the door. This trip is going to be maybe a little different than expected because just this morning we went to look at a house that we might be buying. We're interested in putting an offer on it. So we have a whole bunch of paperwork we have to fill out to actually reapply for a mortgage and submit that offer. So we're going to be stopping a fair amount throughout the way and doing that. Don't know how much of that I'll actually end up sharing, but that's what's going on. So I'm going to hit the road now and I'll see you guys in Colorado. I made it, I am here. So this is my online business manager, or I normally call her my operations manager, Cortni Loveridge. And I have come to Colorado to introduce her to you guys and to actually to meet you in real life, because we had never met in real life before this. We've been working online together for about 2 years?
Yep.
I think about 2 years. Oh, more than 2 years now. Okay. I've lost track of the time, but we've never managed to meet in real life before, so this is a momentous occasion.
Yes, it is.
But I wanted to introduce her to you guys and share a little bit about what she does for me, how she's helped me in my business, and why I chose to hire her originally. So thank you so much for doing this with me.
Yeah, absolutely. And hi to everybody. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, this is like the brains behind the machine. So I originally hired Cortni, or was interested in hiring an online business manager, because I read a book called Rocket Fuel that talked about the difference between 2 different types of leaders called Integrators and Visionaries. And so Visionaries are the people who are the idea people, but often they're very messy with their ideas. So they know where they want to go and they have this vision, but they don't necessarily know how to get there. They're often the people you see as like the face of a company and just the idea person. But integrators are the person who help to integrate all the pieces of the business and help it to all be a smoothly operating machine and just to have the projects actually get done. So a couple years ago I read this book and I immediately recognized in myself that I was the visionary and that mostly I was missing all of the integrator positive attributes. Like I was missing those things. I was really bad at all that sort of stuff. And so I was like, I need help with this. And so I started looking around for someone to hire. And that led me to hiring Cortni. So she's been just a godsend in my business and has helped me in so many ways. So to start out, Cortni, could you just share a little bit about exactly what the role of online business manager or integrator actually looks like?
Yeah, sure. So you can think of it like a director of operations. So I essentially just make sure that all of our projects are getting done at the right time by the right people. So you can think of it kind of like an expander and a container. So the business manager is kind of the expander who has all the great ideas, and the online business manager is the container to make sure that those things are in alignment with what the business owner wants to do and that those projects are being completed.
Basically, it seems to me like it's really hard to be focused on the future and also pay enough attention to the present. Mm-hmm. So because I'm thinking about where we're going next, yes, I can obviously think about the present to some extent and can do my work that I need to get done now, but it's hard for me to keep track of all those moving pieces and make sure that everything gets done on time. And so that's where Cortni comes in.
So one of the things I try to do is really identify each month kind of what the main 3, it's always the rule of 3. So the main sort of 3 projects that I want to push along that really are key to our progression throughout the year and sort of our goals. And when I'm planning on Friday, I always look at those 3 projects and I pick the 3 main tasks tasks that I want to accomplish to really push those forward. So some of those are team related, like following up with the team to make sure they have what they need. Sometimes they're tech building, because I do a little bit of actual implementation in your business as well. So that's how I try to stay focused on sort of our main priorities and be able to sort of plan what our biggest priorities are for that week.
We would meet together at least once a week, and sometimes more often. And it all starts with kind of these big picture planning meetings that we'll do at the beginning of the year and then at the beginning of each quarter. And we plan out what projects I want to complete. And I really appreciate kind of the strategic thinking that Cortni brings to the table also, because sometimes I'm not quite sure, like I have ideas for projects that I would like to do, but she can help me to be a little bit more realistic about which projects make the most sense for my bigger picture goals. So after we do those planning meetings, then every week we meet together and we look over the issues that the business is currently facing, and we try to come up with solutions for those problems, essentially. And then we also look at the projects that we want to complete, and we assess what the next tasks should be to keep those projects moving forward. So I want to make sure that you really understand what she does for me, because I know we're talking kind of big picture terms here, like, she's helping the business to run smoothly, but that's kind of vague or big picture. So Cortni, could you give a few examples of some specific things that you do for clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a lot of project management, but as an online business manager, it's actually not quite just project management. There are other things involved as well. So you have things like team management. So I try to check in on the team, make sure they have everything they need to do for their jobs and to be able to get those projects done. And I also manage, and this might not be every online business manager, but I also manage the processes, because I feel like it's really important for any business to be able to run efficiently, that we're replaceable, which sounds maybe harsher than it is. But what I mean by that is just that we have good standard operating procedures in places. We have recurring tasks so that we know that the things are getting done at the right time. And one of the other things that I like to do for clients a lot, and that I really enjoyed with Gillian's business, is I created essentially a virtual space for the team to operate. So we chose a project management tool, Asana, which I know Gillian's talked about in her YouTube videos before. And I plugged in every single thing that needed to get done, all the projects, all the recurring tasks, and just set it up like a well-oiled machine. And Gillian, you really seem to enjoy that part of your business, because I know you were kind of running your business with various different methods at the time. And we've seen her business grow over the past couple of years working together with more team members, and it just feels really satisfying knowing that they know where to check in to do their work, and that they have everything they need to do their work, and they have a hub to be able to communicate as well.
Yeah, for sure. I wasn't even thinking about that, but that was a huge thing Cortni did, was she set up Asana, our project management system, and she set up Slack so that we could be much more organized as a team and work together more effectively, and we could all see exactly what we needed to do, like the specific tasks and when they were due. Prior to Cortni setting those systems up, I was getting things done, but I was mostly working off of essentially to-do lists, well-organized to-do lists, but that was all they were. And it was working for me to get my work done, but it definitely was going to keep my company really small as I tried to expand in terms of team members. It was just really a system that worked for one person, but I wasn't going to be able to keep a whole team of people accountable to get their work done on time, or really communicate with them effectively what I even wanted them to do without those systems. And I was pretty oblivious to like those systems even existing or their potential. So that was a huge thing that Cortni did, and something that was just so valuable to me.
I definitely geek out on that kind of stuff.
Cortni's right. I love it. I love having those systems in place. I love being organized, even though I'm not always great at keeping systems organized. And that's another place where she really comes in, is just helping to keep the systems organized so that I don't have to get distracted by clutter in my business, and I can stay focused on the work that I need to get done. So I'm sure that you guys are probably interested to know kind of like the numbers behind this, of both like how I made the decision to hire you and decide that that was a good financial decision, and how those numbers have worked out for my business now in terms of like the expense of having you on my team, and then the impact that that's had on my business. So like I said earlier, the reason why I hired Cortni was because I saw these problems in my business, these things that I was bad at. And so really I just wanted to have those problems solved. Even if it didn't make me any more money at all, if it at least like broke even, I would have been happy, because it would have been less stress on my plate and just made me feel like we were like I was doing better work because I would have been having like fewer problems in my business. So when I first hired Cortni, I remember I interviewed quite a few different people, and a couple of them stood out to me. Cortni and then one other woman who they both seemed like potentially a good fit, but Cortni was a bit more expensive, and so I was like, I want to hire you because it seems like you might be the better fit, but I'm not really sure if this is going to be profitable for me. I'm not sure if it really makes sense. So is it possible for you to start working for me at the price that the other person was asking? And Cortni agreed, which I'm really grateful for. I'm glad she said yes.
I was really excited to work for Gillian.
Yeah, well, I'm really glad that she said yes because it's turned out to be a great fit. But I very quickly started to see some improvements in my business. She just stepped in and started taking over in the best way possible all of these different parts of my business that I was really bad at, like just keeping things organized. And I would say I'm not very good at kind of being consistent with like doing the same processes over or with record keeping and things like that, and Cortni helped out a lot. So I just immediately started seeing the benefits, but of course like my income didn't start going up immediately, but I would say probably within the first 6 months or so, I did find that my business was making more money just because I was able to focus more on the things I was actually good at, and so I was growing the business. What's interesting about hiring an online business manager is that they don't really directly make you money.
Yeah.
They don't. But you have to kind of have that like bigger picture to see that they're enabling you to do the things that like actively make you money. Mm-hmm. Because like thanks to Cortni, my business went from, when I first hired you 2.5 years ago, my business was earning probably about $15,000 a month gross. And now today my business is earning an average of about $42,000 a month gross. And so that's obviously a huge impact.
And I would also just mention that online business managers are very focused on sort of the metrics of the business and sort of like the overall goals of the business. So in that way, I feel like online business managers can sometimes help you find the holes in your business and the places where, income might be being missed, or there might be an opportunity for income as well. So
yeah, when I say she's not actively making me money, like she's not a salesperson. She's not going out there and like, selling to customers, which is kind of the role that I fill in my business by like, I am the marketing manager in my business. Mm-hmm. But Cortni is the one who keeps like the machine running behind the scenes so that I'm able to go out there and do that marketing work, and that really is extremely valuable. And so today I'm paying Cortni just short of about $5,000 per month, even though you're not really working a lot more than you were working when you first started working for me, right?
Yeah.
So she's working about the same number of hours, but I'm paying her more because she's proved to be so helpful. And how many hours would you say you do work?
I would say I work anywhere from about 18 to 25, sometimes a little bit more if we're launching or, there's quite a few projects we want to get out the door. So yeah, I'd say anywhere around there. So definitely not full time. Which I think is just really interesting.
Yeah, so earning about $5,000 a month for about half-time work. So one thing that I wanted to touch on this video was kind of the difference between what Cortni does for me as my operations manager and something that I see a lot of other YouTubers especially doing. A lot of YouTubers and other influencers will hire some sort of manager or some sort of agency to manage them or represent them, and the main difference that I see with this is that a lot of the times people are hiring someone to really run their brand. So the influencer will still be doing the creative work, they'll still be coming up with the content, but they're not even really running their business. They're letting this agency kind of run their business and get them the sponsorship deals and things like that. But in my business, it's more like Cortni and I are partners who are running different parts of the business, and I'm creating the plans for where we're headed, and then she's just helping me to do them and helping to run the business in the process. But I would say I am the captain at the front of the ship, whereas I think that when people do hire one of those agencies, they're kind of like heading still one part of their business, of course, the creative part, but the entire like operation side of their business is really being driven forward by that agency. And it's also just kind of different kinds of work. Normally when people hire an agency like that, they are mostly focused on just trying to get sponsorships or maybe create merch. But in our case, we're running a business and the content is really just a piece of the marketing, but we're more focused on the products. And so we're doing product development and product delivery. So there are a lot more moving pieces. So that's just a few differences that I see. Well, I hope that you guys have found it really interesting to meet Cortni and see what my business operations manager does. She really is the brains behind the operation, and she's how I'm able to appear to like be everywhere and do everything, because I'm not at all. I'm just doing mostly the very visible work, and she's doing the invisible work behind the curtain. So thank you so much, Cortni, for sharing with us so much. It was great to have you on the channel today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh. Okay.
Also the fly. Maybe we should kill the fly.
Oh, dang it. Okay, that was close.
Yes, success.